Ooh, that's loud on my ears. Hold on. Well. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Clearing throats. Making noise. Okay. Hello, guys. Let me try this delicious looking thing that I just made. It's a concoction. This is probably going to taste like ass. I'm not going to lie. Because I mixed some kind of mango grape juice, which is the orange part. And then I mixed some cranberry juice. This thing. And then 1/3 of my sparkling flavored soda thing to carbonate it. So, yeah, I probably should mix it up a little bit, shouldn't I? This is why it takes me so long to start the stream properly. Here we go. That's not bad. That's not bad. But my taste buds are on a different level. It's like subterranean quality, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Let me put this away. Breaking my desk. Okay, welcome guys. Am I live? Is everything good? L says, hey yo, oh I missed a stream. Oh man, did the streak die? That's okay, listen. Blame it on me for not streaming consistently every day. Fedorevsky says, howdy. Howdy back at you. Thank you very much for being here. Let me double check. Because every time I take a few days, actually no. I can't keep making the excuse of like, oh, I didn't stream in a few days, so now I'm so rusty. It's like, no, at some point, the blame is on me for not knowing how to be a streamer. But yeah, I do want to use that excuse a little bit longer. I just want to double check. So my audio is playing. Oh yeah, I should probably have the Rodecaster app open because technically I'm supposed to use that to adjust all the audio, the sound mixing stuff thingamabobber. Okay, so I see that the music is playing. And hopefully the volume is not too loud. I haven't touched anything since last time, so we're just gonna keep our fingers crossed on that. What else do I need to do in terms of troubleshooting? Well, right now I am just streaming to YouTube one proper stream. I'm not doing the vertical one. I'm taking a week off of doing the vertical stream just to kind of level set. I'm in trial and error mode, so I'm doing this for research. I just want to see like what differences do I see when I'm streaming vertical plus landscape versus not. And then I obviously welcome guys on Twitch. TikTok, I haven't decided yet if I want to try again, just because I've been a little bit put off by these random, what do you call it? These timeouts that TikTok gives you for not following their rules properly. And I have no idea. They don't tell you what to do differently. So, excuse me. Welcome guys to day 119. 119 days of streaming. Nobody has asked me to keep saying those numbers, but I figure I'll keep adding in my thumbnail. So it's just a nice little reminder for myself. We've made it past 100 days. But yeah, welcome guys. And this is our 6th month of streaming. But yeah, welcome. I didn't think I was going to be streaming today because I had this presentation. There's this big event in Sharjah, one of the Emirates of the UAE. And it happens every year. It's like it's like a big photography exhibition. So a lot of these photographers will buy out these booths. Booth it sounds a little too small. They buy out these little exhibition spaces. It's really well done. And then I think some of them get it for free as part of exposure, the event itself. But basically you can showcase your work there. So you see some of these amazing photographers from all around the world showing things across different categories. It literally is anything. There was one I saw, I took a photo for inspiration. There was someone who did photography of rehabilitating chimpanzees, which I was like, yo, that's my wheelhouse. And it's in a different part of Africa. I need to double check. I took a picture of it. So I figured, oh, maybe I can go there because the photos look so amazing. But anyways, it's just a bunch of photographers and a lot of companies are there, including Nikon. So as a Nikon shooter, basically I ran a workshop So thank you very much. I don't know if anyone from that workshop is actually tuning into a live stream of mine. Chances are very slim, but I do appreciate those people who showed up, because it's always nerve-wracking. You know, I barely had time to even advertise this thing, which is mostly my fault. But you know, you say you're going to do this event, there's a chance nobody will show up, right? And it's like, it's totally fine. At the end of the day, if one person shows up, I will give you as much time, if not more, dedicated time, as opposed to if like 50 people show up or something like that. But anyways, I do appreciate the people that did show up. Very kind words and good motivation. And it's always weird when people ask to take photos with you, because then it's like you feel like a mini celebrity for a while. So I still haven't gotten over that part of it. But yeah, so today and the day before, I basically had to prepare for this workshop. So yeah, I've been a little bit out of pocket. And then for today, I just assumed that I wouldn't be streaming because I was just going to be too exhausted. However, here I am. I decided, F it, I'm just going to go live and until my brain shuts off on me. So thank you, anyone who's here to chill with me. We will do a little bit of work, although I'm going to admit my energy level is not high enough to do like proper working, but we'll try anyways. Are my cats here? I know one of my cats is making a fuss running around down on the ground, so I doubt he's there, but we do see the beautiful Nala. The princess herself is here. Good girl. So Nala has graced us with her presence. And then Kimbap is running around, but yeah, as of now, he's not chilling with us. But hopefully when he comes by, we'll swing over to him. But yeah. Outside of that, what time is it over here? It is now 6:41 p.m. So there is a chance that I will stream as, what's the right word here? Few sounds too weird. As little? Is a chance I'll stream as little as 1.5 hours or so, or I might stream for like 5. Okay, so that's the kind of game that we're playing today. But generally speaking, I do want to just kind of chill. I'll debrief a little bit of the event. Oh, actually, that'd be fun. Let me see. Can I pop open? Let's see if I can show you guys the presentation I put together. I put all this in one, or I had the beginning part of it before, but I put most of it together last night. I'm saying this a little bit proudly. At the same time, it's not a good thing to be proud of because I should have put more prep into it, you know, but listen. We procrastinate here. And I think it turned out okay. So let me open up my presentation and I'll share my screen in a second. Usually everything's broken. Jesus, my cat is just doing something that he probably shouldn't based on all the noise I'm hearing behind me. Let's restart the capture. Okay. Let me share my screen now over here. Oh, thank God it's working. So I put this whole presentation together as part of my 1.5 hour workshop. And you know what? Thank you to you guys, all of you guys who tune into my streams and keep me doing this, because I guess the muscle memory, I don't know what the right term is here, but you guys have trained me to be able to speak for hours and hours and hours without exhausting myself. Or maybe I was born with that, but you guys at least helped me craft the ability of speaking speak long time, okay? So I think I went actually over the 1.5 hour mark to the point where people in the back were like telling me to get the F off, you know, like, you know, we got to move on. But yeah, so this was my little workshop. So they asked me what do I want to pitch as a, what do you call it? A workshop topic. So I went with, let me see if I full screen this. Can you guys see this? Give me a second. I have to see if I can see it properly on my monitor over here. Okay, I think you guys can see this full screen. I can't see myself anymore, but yeah, this is my little presentation where I talked about from idea to short film, how I made a 5-minute documentary. So it was like kind of, technically, this is a workshop where you're supposed to learn something, right? But I masked it in a personal story. So that way, if someone's like, you know, hey, I didn't really learn much from your workshop, I'll be like, well, too bad. This was about learning about me, okay? And I was just here to share like a diary, what I learned. But hopefully I would do it in a way where there were learnings in there. So it gave me a little bit of an out to say that, hey, this is a workshop. You should walk away with some kind of key learnings. But if you don't, it was really just meant to share my thoughts on a previous project I was on. But the general gist was like, hey, I hope to encourage a lot of the people who are in the audience who were similar to me, where you're like a still photographer. You weren't like a filmmaker. You didn't go to school for it, blah, blah, blah. And trying to give some encouragements that it is very much possible to enter into that world. And here are the steps that I took, and here are things that I would suggest if you want to do it. So that's basically what I did. And then I had, of course, I had the little trailers. I'm not going to play this because I think it'll hit me with my own. I'm going to get hit with a copyright strike for my own video. How crazy is that? But yeah, I played out a trailer here. Then I talked about the journey. Man, I spent a good amount of time to kind of clean this up to look a bit more, I don't know. Well, this one's a little bit basic, I'm not gonna lie. But I just talked about my journey going from stills to motion, like Instagram Reels and social media content, to the YouTube side of things, doing these like travel vlogs and getting comfortable talking, and then entering into the new era for me, which is the filmmaking side. So how do I do things? How do I tell stories cinematically? So yeah, this was kind of like the brief thing I talk about. Then I made this whole, I had made a few slides where I talk about my journey. So you would see here just a montage of some of the photos that I've captured in the years of my stint traveling from like a photography angle. And then also you can see how I started to shift towards wildlife photography towards the latter part of those years. And then I talk about how I started to go into reels over stills. So then the official shift in my journey, where instead of having my camera always on photo mode, I was always default in video mode. And I was still kind of shooting more in a vertical format because, I was trying to get used to making those TikTokies and, Instagram reels and stuff. So that was a really big part of my progression and learning. And then I talked about shifting officially over to YouTube and deciding to flip it over, start doing these landscapes, start doing long form, start to try to, just get comfortable doing multi-minute long types of episodes. So that was a big obvious part of where I've been. And then you guys come in here, I think on the next one. Yes. So then I talk about how, hey, I switched over officially to the live streaming side of things. So then I talked a bit about so this is a little bit of me, what I learned, blah, blah, blah. And yeah. So anyways, so those are some of those things. I'm going to skip over a little bit here as we don't get hit with copyright. I played my little short film. Then I talked about, I don't know if this is a proper rule of filmmaking or not. I did have ChatGPT and AI help me out quite a bit. So possibly they took some of my words and then said it's a rule, or they made it sound like a rule. But basically the thing I was trying to convey is that I felt like I was rewriting the documentary multiple times throughout the process. So for me, we'll call it the rule of three, but basically I wrote the documentary three times in the pre-production, production, and post-production phase. And the key point of this is the fact that you just have to learn to adapt. Anything can change all the planning you do in the pre-production, once you're at the site, when you're shooting, things are always different on the ground, is there a term in military? Is it like FUBAR? I don't know what the term is, but everything goes awry. Whatever your best best plans and intentions never fall the way you expect it to. So then when you're actually on site shooting, you have to sometimes adapt and recreate what your documentary story will be. And then that doesn't change once I'm in post-production, once I'm in the studio, once I'm looking at all the footage and I'm looking at the audio, the voiceovers I captured. What did I actually grab, and what actually ends up looking good versus what I was hoping looked good. Then I rewrite the story for the third time, where now I have to start figuring out what of everything I captured is actually usable, and what are some moments that I didn't expect that becomes these wow moments that I need to include into the story. So anyways, that was a little bit of what I was teaching here. I was like, hey, it sounds really nice, right? The rule of 3. A documentary is written 3 times. But like I said, I don't actually know if this is a real thing or not. Then I talked about how I did a lot of research, watched a lot of videos. And then this thing, and by the way, I don't know, right? Because I'm not a filmmaker. So for all I know, if you go to film school, they actually give you everything laid out in terms of like, here are the actual steps you should always follow. Nobody gave that to me, so it gives me the luxury. And also, I let people know in advance, like, hey, I'm going to share my insights, but they could be completely wrong, but it's what worked for me. So that's what matters. Oh, one other thing I'll say about this this workshop, there were a number of people in the workshop who were having a blast. They were laughing so hard at every one of my jokes. So it was very, you know, it made me feel good for sure. I will also say shout out to all of you guys in the live stream because, you know, I think you guys helped me feel more comfortable to talk and be myself. But yeah, my God, they were laughing. Well, okay, to be fair, maybe they were laughing at me, right? You'll never be able to tell. But at the times where I was hoping people would laugh, they would laugh. And then even other times they would laugh. So yeah, your boys got jokes, or you know, I got comedic timing for some of the crowd. And then there were 2 people who were sleeping, so it does balance itself out a bit. But we won't talk about those 2. The ladies, it was all ladies that were laughing. So thank you. But anyways, I don't know why I brought that up. It has nothing to do with this part. But as I'm thinking about this journey, the story beats feels like something that matters the most in any film project that I want to work on going forward. I kind of landed on this without knowing necessarily why it's important, but yeah, trying to think through like if I have a story that I want to capture, what are the beats to the story, and thinking of it kind of like a soundtrack or like a song. So for me, it was like, hey, how do I have an eye-catching opening? Then so the hook, right? So, and this is something thanks to, I guess, the time that I spent learning how to do like YouTube shorts and like those TikTok, Instagram reels, where every second matters. You know that you need something to grab the attention of a viewer in the first few seconds, otherwise they swipe away. So what is that hook? Then the next part of my story beat was around establishing shots, really, but it's like establish your environment. So where are we? I'm on this island. So can I spend time showing clips that help to immerse the viewer in this island environment? So it could be wide angle shots. It could literally be like a drone shot of the island, whatever. Or it's like just different visuals that I use to show the other animals, the coastline, the civilization that was on this island, just to start painting a picture so people feel grounded in the environment. Then the third part of my story, my short film, was the characters. And now this is where I introduce the characters, starting with the director, excuse me, and then introducing all the chimps that lived on the island. So we introduce the characters, then we bring in the problem, right? So every good story has like conflict. It has some kind of tension or drama or something that needs to be overcome, right? So this is the part of my short film where you hear the doctor talking about, you know, where the chimps come from, the dangers that they faced, and at the same time the music shifts and becomes a bit more dramatic, and you also start seeing those chimpanzees walking through the chimp tunnel, right? The very dramatic shots. So that's like the root of this story, where it really brings in everything together. You start to understand the point of the story. And then of course we end up with the solution. So that's where you hear the story about the doctor and how he had to amputate the thumb of one of the chimpanzees. But through that story, you're learning about the mission of the main character, the doctor, the caregivers on the island, the value that it's adding to these chimpanzees and actually being rescued, right? So that's like kind of where that part of the story came in. And then the final beat was the hopeful message. So for my short film, I wanted it to be positive. So therefore, everything from the music, how it starts to change, let's say mood-wise, to the visuals, to the voiceovers from the doctor, everything had to match this mood of like hope and positive energy. So yeah, these are all kind of like the key things that I put together. Yo. It's the one and only Low Bass. Thank you very much for resubbing. Yo, I appreciate you for always helping me, supporting me through knowledge as well as monetarily. I appreciate all of that. Thank you, Low Bass. Low Bass says, how is you? I'm doing very well. I'm still congested, which is super annoying. I might just have like chronic allergies. I might just need to go to a doctor and just be like, yo, give me a drug. Just inject me with something so I never feel congested. Or I still have the residues of when I was sick. I don't know. And then separately, I'm doing well, but I probably have not too much energy just because I had to go to Sharjah, which is pretty far from Dubai. This afternoon, I had a presentation, an hour and a half long, where I was just standing and talking through my content, which is what I'm sharing right now, just for fun. And yeah, so energy-wise, not the most. I didn't think I was going to stream today, but I figured, F it, let's just turn on the camera and stream for a little bit until the energy completely is shot out of my body. Low Bass says, just upload your brain into the computer. If I could do that, oh man. Actually, is that what Claude Cowork or something is? I need to learn how to use that. Because isn't the whole point of that thing? It's like, hey, I will work on your behalf while you're doing other things or while you walk away. But yes, thank you very much, Low Bass. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you are doing well as well. Today's a Tuesday. I'm assuming you are at work securing things away. Or is it lunchtime? I think usually, although today I'm streaming at around almost 7 p.m. So time zone and everything is different. But yeah. If it's already lunchtime for you, enjoy whatever you're eating. Right now, oh yeah, let me take a sippy of my new drink here. It's actually a good mix. Hold on, let me mix it up again. Mango, grape, mango, grape, cranberry, and then sparkling soda. Low Bass says, I canceled my Claude subscription a little bit ago. I've been testing Grok for a little bit. Almost lunchtime, but not quite. Just deciding what to order. Gotcha. Wait, you're not a fan of Claude? Oh, that reminds me. I was supposed to do a quiz with Claude. Maybe we'll do that in a second. But yeah, so I'm just sharing a little bit. This is my presentation that I put together the other night. And so I was just kind of walking through all the key steps of how I made my short film. So this is like all part of the pre-production phase where I talk about like, hey, I put the story beat together. I did the research. I spoke a lot with ChatGPT and AI in terms of kind of fleshing out some of the features of it, including like, hey, can you help me with a list of questions for the interview portion of this short film that I knew I wanted to do. I talk about the shot list. So, you know, the importance of kind of putting together this type of a list. So that way it helps you once you're in the environment shooting that you don't forget to film some key moments. So having this is like, I think one of the most important parts of any film project, I would guess. Low Bass says, no, I'm a ginormous fan of Cloud. I just can't afford 2 subscriptions, so I'm pausing one while I try another. Gotcha. Yeah, these things, man, it's so expensive. Yeah, it's too expensive. But here I am spending all my money on it. Voice to text really doesn't like the word cloud. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know how you're supposed to pronounce it. Claude. But yeah, so this shot list is definitely something I think is most valuable. So I talk through like just, you know, having this list with you so that the moment you're on set or in the location, you just start to plug away at all the things. So yeah, anyways, I talked about the schedule that you put together because this is like a 3-day shoot. Then I go into the production and I talk about what gear I used. I talk about the first hour. What do I do when I land on scene or on the set to start scouting? I talked about my interview setup and what I ended up doing here to get the subject in frame and whatever else. Some of the challenges I faced. Some of the filming advice. I don't know how good these advice are. Hello, BC is in the chat. Let me join this heist real quick. Hello. Today is day 119. Thanks for being here. BC says good morning. Yes, good morning to you guys over stateside. So then filming advice. I mentioned it's, especially because I'm a solo shooter, I would start wide to medium to tight. in terms of like, you know, maybe either switching out the lens for a wide angle or just backing up, getting a certain scene or environment, and then either moving closer to that same scene to get a medium version of the shot and then a tight version, and then just rinse and repeating that. I mentioned it's okay to direct, so feel free, even though I'm like doing a quote unquote documentary, it's okay to have scripted moments, in my opinion, or trying to like ask someone to like, hey, can you walk along the beach here? Or can you walk towards the sunset real quick? So even if it's not like what they would have done if I was an invisible cameraman, yeah, it was a way to get certain shots the way I wanted it. And then, yeah, refer to your shot list. So man, I put this whole thing together all last night. Post-production. So then I talk about, here's all the things I do. And this one, literally, this is what I do, right? Like, I think I do this technically for, well, not this transcription thing, but the steps I share here is fairly similar for what I do for my Instagram Reels, for the YouTube, stuff like that. I'm sure it doesn't always work, but for this short film, every step I'm sharing is exactly how I think I would continue doing it going forward as well. Here in the post-production, I mentioned that one of the first steps I did when I made the short film was I literally transcribed all of the voiceovers from the doctor, from the caregivers, everything I recorded. I basically had it all transcribed. And I think I put it through DaVinci, got the transcriptions, downloaded it, and then eventually got to the point where I could copy and paste all the text. And then I used Notion to literally start copying and pasting all the spoken words so that I could read it and start to highlight the key lines, phrases, dialogue that I thought was more compelling. And then that way I also knew which parts were least compelling, maybe redundant or whatever, unnecessary. Lobe says, I did purchase a new flash that I didn't need, can't afford, and realistically won't be able to use for another 6 weeks. Yeah. Speaking of which, I just bought another 18 terabyte hard drive, which I think is arriving tonight. Yeah, so. Mindful Grinds in the chat says, good morning. Hello. Thank you guys for being here. It feels cool having, I don't know if you would say regulars. It feels weird to even say that, but it feels awesome that you guys will tune in and say hi and just hang out and all that. I need to blow my nose again. Oh wait, I haven't learned how to mute. Oh shoot, I should probably learn this. How do I mute myself? Oh, let me just do it manually here. 1 second. God, how am I still congested? I think, yeah, it must be chronic allergies. There was no typos in that sentence. Okay, let me read that again. I did. Depression purchase a new flash. Depression purchase. I've never heard that before, but I hear you. I hear you. I'm sure you'll use that. You'll use it at some point, okay? You'll get your value out of it. The small rig Tribex Carbon 2 is on sale on B&H right now for $519. That's a lot of money. The Tribex Carbon 2. What is that? Because I'm trying to lean towards this whole... I'm still waiting for my... what is it? Tilta. The Tilta cage and stuff. So I'm trying to shift over to the Tilta. But there's a small rig Tribex Carbon 2. If it feels weird to have regulars, check your fiber intake. Thank you. I was thinking about how handy this would have been when I was out all over the place this weekend filming birds. Oh, well, okay, then I'm glad this could be of use. Thank you. Oh, wait, no, you're talking about the Tribex. Dang it. I thought you were talking about this workshop material I had. Yes, this tripod is probably better for your bird shoot. Oh, wait, I have something like this. Oh, yeah, this is the one I have. This is the one, the Potato Jet tripod. Yeah, it's not even out here. It's in my storage space. God, I spent a lot of money, didn't I? Very, very embarrassing. Yeah, so anyways, I do this transcription. I took all the audio voiceovers, figured out the lines that made the most sense. I started putting a table together of like what shot could work with these key moments, and then put it into my story beats. And then I talk about how, in my opinion, I feel like audio is more important in some ways than visual. or at least in terms of the first phase of me editing my video, I actually work with the audio first as the skeleton, and then I start to apply the visuals, the B-rolls or whatever as like the muscle layer and the skin layer of the skeletal structure, as weird as that sounds. That is the potato jet hydraulic leg version. Gotcha. I'm just here hanging out. I have no idea what you're up to today. Gotcha. Let me just pop in and show my ADHD. Oh, you know what? Man, I have so many things that came up recently. Because I was hanging out with a few friends at a cafe, and they were all like, you have ADHD. And I was like, okay, fair enough. I hear you. But, yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a video that was circulating where someone was like, who was the someone? Trevor Noah, who was the comedian, right? Or the Daily guy, where he was saying like one of the best lessons I have for people with ADHD and for himself, I guess, is the art of saying no, or the ability to say no. Because I don't know if this is a trait of people with ADHD, but what he was saying is like you happen to say yes to a lot of things if you have that trait, and it could be attributed to ADHD. But let's say you have a tendency of people ask you something like, oh yeah, I can help with that, or yeah, I could do this. You end up saying yes to everybody. And then the problem is, obviously, you can't juggle so many things. And ultimately, you're going to disappoint someone because either the quality of your work is going to drop, or you end up not getting the thing done. And then people are like, well, why, it's your fault eventually, right? Because it's not like they know all the things you're juggling. So he was saying how learning how to say no to people is one of the best things for someone with ADHD. And regardless of if I have ADHD or not, I do find value in that advice, because that is something I fall under the trap of, where I just say yes to, like, it doesn't even matter what it is. It could be a work-related stuff, a project. It could just be like, can you help me unload the dishes? No, I'm choosing a dumb example here, but yeah, and then it just all stacks up and everything drops. So, but yeah, I think even me talking about this is proof that I have ADHD, because I'm like, why am I talking about this? Because I'm looking at the slide here, and it's like, what led me to this? Now I remember. Mindful, you mentioned the ADHD. Gotcha. Low Bay says, disappointing people is my default state. Trust me, it doesn't take a lot of time out of your day. Hey, listen, you did not disappoint me, Low Base. Thank you for donating. Thank you for resubbing. That's a good feeling. We have to keep on being good at being a streamer. So thank you, man. Learning to say no to people is important for anyone, ADHD or not. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I feel like it's not even an ADHD thing. It's just it's a good trait to have. Not getting over this like pleasing everyone mentality, because it's, I don't know. I mean, the word that comes to mind is toxic, but I don't know if it's for the right reasons. But there is this like sense of thinking you're always supposed to please everyone, and by doing so, you might end up pleasing no one. Right? By virtue of trying to go down that direction. So yeah, being selective or intentional with everything is a key thing. That is my 2026 goal, is to be more intentional with what I do. Hopefully you guys will see it in my YouTube channel going forward. Fingers crossed. But oh yeah, guys. Oh man, how did I not bring this up? I just released a new YouTube video a couple days ago, I guess. It's another one of these product review videos, so not like the cinematic stuff per se, but it is a new line of videos that I want to start doing on my YouTube channel, which is like these kind of talking head product reviews, blah blah blah. So please do check it out. Let me know your thoughts. It's like a 7-minute video where I talk about that Pidgeotech backpack that we've been chatting about for some time. And again, shout out to whoever it was in the chat who gave this advice before. Actually, while since I am now distracted with this, let me just go over to one of my cats. Where is Kimpap? Kimpap, where are you? All right, well, Nala's here, so thank you, Nala, for being here. Good girl. Oh wait, what was I talking about? Since I forgot, let me read what Low Bay says here. The rule that if it works with your eyes closed, it works does not apply to your eyes. Yeah, there's an exception to every rule, Low Base. Except something, I'm sure. Fed says, pleasing is one thing. You need to please yourself too, or else... Man, what kind of a conversation are we talking about here? About pleasing oneself. You need to please yourself too, or else you get nothing done being busy pleasing people all the time for no other reason than pleasing them. Okay, well, here's the here is where I would say, I don't know, I'm sure people can prove me wrong, maybe at some point. I genuinely think that I have a, I think I find a lot, I derive a lot of my own satisfaction, happiness, whatever, if something I do, something I put out into the world makes other people have a positive reaction, right? So in a sense, pleasing other people does please me. And I think I stand by that. I'm trying to think, like, you know, it feels weird always saying these statements because I'm sure I could find a moment where it's proven wrong. But generally speaking, I do feel that is my nature. And this is why, right? I have this mantra about sharing the best of the world with the rest of the world. And for me, it is because it's this feeling of like, man, if something I created can then make other people feel positive, that's like the motivation for me that was all the reason I needed to create. Now, if nobody sees what I create, right? If no eyeballs whatsoever, not even a single person sees what I create, would I still find value enough that I would keep creating? And I guess I don't know. I haven't challenged myself to think about that before. What the heck? Where are all my cats? My cats are just whatever. Okay, I see what it is. I need my cats to be here so they can make this stream look super cute and make people want to donate money, you know? But they're just not in on it. Lobe says, all right, who's going to make the first joke? Yeah, it's been done. Mindful says, I can relate. Yeah. Yes, so, oh yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so this slide I made, audio first, visual second. So generally speaking, I do feel like the audio matters more for the film that I was making, since it was like a documentary style. There was a voiceover the whole time, which is the main character. So I worked through the voiceover first, and then I started to apply the soundtrack, and then I applied the visuals. So anyways, this is the presentation I put together, and I was pretty proud of it because, you know, it's like 1 day's notice. That's my fault. You know, they gave me time to figure this out, but, and then I walked through my, my other stuff. So yes. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in to my keynote presentation. Let's quit this guy now. All right. So like I said, I wasn't planning to stream today, so I'm kind of all over the place in terms of what do I want to do. I do see here that our very own Fedorevsky has posted another video. The Herd. Oh, no, that's the series, right? So this title is The Hide. I like the thumbnail, man. This looks already very eerie. So Fed, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and click on this guy and we can watch it together, yeah? Holy crap, but it is 21.5 minutes. So, yeah. It's easy to get audience captured if you get very occupied with pleasing people. That is true as well. I guess there's like a fine line. Yeah, there's a fine line there. If people are pleased from what I create, that's a huge plus, but that's not really why I create stuff. Yeah, and this is where, Fed, I wanted to agree with you, but I'm wondering if I would disagree. Yeah, let me think about that. On an unrelated note, I'm reading reports of a sudden yarn heist in Dubai. Is this like a play on word joke you're about to... Is there like a... I'm trying to understand what comes after this line. A yarn heist in Dubai. Because I've not heard about this yarn heist. Yeah, okay, so... I am trying to question myself here. Like, if I made... if you make art, if you make a short film, if you make something and nobody, I think here's where I would draw the line. If I make something and nobody likes it, would I still make art? Let me think here. Like, would I still make that kind of art? Because you said pleasing is one thing. You need to please yourself. Oh, wait, no, hold on. People are pleased from what I create, that's a huge plus, but that's not really why I create stuff. Yeah. So I think I do generally agree with that. Because let's say when I got into photography, for me, it was just, I take a photo, I edit it the way I like, and I would post it. And if nobody pays attention to it for the most part, I'm still happy because for me, it wasn't just about that. It was about like the process of keep posting and keep making new photos, editing, learning, and all that kind of stuff. So I think if it's part of the process, I'm okay with it. But if, let's say, if I make a short film and that is the end of the process, of like, you know, all the culmination of all the thought process that I had and like the editing skills and whatever, if I make that and nobody gives a shit about it, I'm trying to think. Realistically, I think it would be hard for me to get over that. You know what I mean? Because like there'd be a part of me that's still proud that I made the video or I made this thing. But then the other part saying like, man, I was hoping, my expectations might have been that I wanted more people to have a positive reaction from it. If not as many people have a positive reaction from it, I think I would still use that as like motivation to keep doing it. But I do derive a lot of satisfaction from other people's response to my work, I would say. Like if I'm being honest with myself, I would say that is a big part of it. So I can't figure out like percentage wise though. Fed says, yeah, feel free to jump around in the video. It's long. Depends on what you do. If you're streaming, for example, or making videos about products, you are in the business of pleasing the audience. Yeah, it's like, imagine if you were a comedian, right? And you go up on stage and you completely bomb. Nobody laughs at any of your jokes, right? Or even some, and this is what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if nobody laughed at your jokes, is that okay? But what if people took offense to your jokes, right? So instead of being like a neutral state where they didn't laugh or get angry, that's one thing. If they laugh and have a positive, that's one thing. And if they get angry or have a negative reaction to what you say or create, that's another, right? And if that's not your intention, I guess. So like if I made a short film and it offended people, if people got upset, it would genuinely make me feel very bad, even if that wasn't my intent. If people have no reaction to it, I think that's where I'm back to like, well, it's not for you, it was for me. Like, you know. And then if people have a positive thing, that's where it's like, oh, thank God. Like this feels inspirational, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I don't know what I'm saying. Some of the best movies made nobody gave a shit about when they were released. Then a decade later, suddenly they became classics or cult favorites. Yeah. True. Like your footage, man. You know? One of these days, people are going to go back, put this all... Would you ever like stitch all of these together? So like some of these are 21.5 minutes. I forget what the last one was, but it was like, was it like at least 10, 15 minutes? So I wonder, like, at some point, if you put it all together, would someone be like, whoa, I enjoyed watching them separately, but then some dude put this together and watched it in like a big screen. Yeah. All right, let's read this a little bit here. Wait, I want to multitask. So shout out to Fedorevsky, creating a new video, and I'm assuming this was also shot with the Nikon ZR. Yeah, Nikon ZR. I forget if you said where you get the soundtracks from, but yeah. And then in the meantime, let's do a bit of photo editing maybe. Because I haven't done some photo edits in a while, and this lets me do it more casually here. Because we got to get through some of the Sri Lanka stuff, right? Alright, where's Sri Lanka? Oh, I gotta connect my hard drives. Mindful says, I've been watching his vids. Great stuff. Suspenseful. Yes, I agree. I very much agree. Let's turn off this music. Make it more suspenseful. Fed says, I've made some longer edits like that using footage from many short films, but not put them on YouTube. Gotcha. Here, I need to turn on my hard drives. Ugh. Oh man. Yo, the your sound effects are incredible. Through my headphones, I actually felt a bit terrified because I felt like something was right behind me. I felt some vibration behind me. I was like, holy, what the heck is creeping up on me? So good stuff, man. There we go. Fed says shot it on ZR and graded with Genesis. Nice, nice. Oh yeah, I saw there was a Colin Kelly video that just came out about I think it's like some conversation he's having about Genesis or something like that. I need a bigger desk. I need my own studio. Okay. Do I have the photos? There it is, Sri Lanka. Oh wait, let me go on mute. I think someone's calling me. Be right back, I have a package. All right. My 18 terabyte hard drive has just arrived. I need a better solution than this, whatever I'm doing. Yeah, so you said I watched it yesterday. Cullen interviews Dr. Mitch Bogdanowicz, the guy who did the film and print emulations for Genesis. He worked at Kodak and created film stocks and prints for them. Oh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Found the Sri Lanka stuff. So I guess these are the photos that we had highlighted. Usually as like one of the first steps, I like to take all the photos that I filtered as like the ones to edit. And I used to do like a denoising process on all of it. Although I think Lightroom has changed up since, where, let me see. Yeah, okay, so I would usually hit this denoise button. And then depending on how many photos we're working with, it could take a while, but that's pretty fast. Oh wait, no. Fed says he created a method of emulation back in 1979 that made making film stocks much easier going forward. Before that, they spent like $100,000 on each, so he kind of invented film emulation. Dang. So this one, all right, so this is with Genesis for film emulation. And have you noticed like a big difference in terms of when you're using like Dehancer or not using anything compared to now using Genesis? And I'm curious where you see the most improvements or whatever. Also, I'm curious, when you're filming this, were you filming, like when you're looking at your waveform, are you shooting this where the waveform is technically that whole exposed to the right, whatever kind of concept? Or is it like neutral to like overexposed and then you're dropping this all down in post? Or, because I'm trying to get a sense of like the areas that you've been filming, it does look super low lit, right? So I'm curious if you just trust the ZR to shoot in these underexposed environments, or if you actually did the proper like overexposure type thing and then dropped it down. Yeah, I'm just very curious because obviously you do a lot of nighttime filming, and I think I need more practice with that in these like low light situations to figure out also with the ZR like what is it really capable of in these like dark scenarios. Must be an ND filter. Oh yeah, so I need to test my new Freewell, the Freewell lens as well. Variable ND filter. Where do you find these locations, by the way? I'm like curious if you guys are just like wandering around like the countryside. Be like, oh, we found some abandoned building. Let's go in. Also, does your friend do? Does your friend also like? I'm assuming you both are doing this together for the artistic reasons or whatever. But does he do like acting on the side? And that's like this is part of his portfolio as well that he's trying to, boost his acting stuff or whatever. I don't know. Difference is pretty big. A Dehancer is emulating just from film. With Genesis, they have access to all the chemical information, so they go much deeper, recreating all the layers of emulsion, etc. Dang, that sounds... Whatever you just said there sounds really epic. All right, I think I've done all the denoising, so we can look at this photo more properly. So I want to edit, let's edit the leopard shot. So we're gonna go with this one here. Let's see. This one is sharper, so let's go with this one. Sometimes I like to hit auto just to see what the auto photo filter would look like. And then if I feel inspired by it, I either keep it or I remove it. Yeah. I don't like it as much, so I'm just going to do it my way. Ooh, man, this subject background detection is really bad, so I'm just going to have to do this manually. So with Genesis, they were able to faithfully recreate stock all the way back to the start of color film. You can mix and match stocks that have not existed in decades with any print from them to now. This film was lit by a flashlight and a headlight, the ones he inspected when he came into the hide there, and the lantern he was carrying. I didn't use ND filters. Yeah, I imagine the NDs must be too dark. So then, like, let's say in some of these really dark areas that's not lit up by the lights, in your waveform or histogram, whichever you used, are you looking at it where it's like basically pure, it looks like it's pure black almost, or it's just hovering around there? And oh yeah, Mindful asked a good question. Is this like 800 ISO? You said yes, 800? Wow. Oh, I still need to buy that. Sometimes I like to be really precise with my subject and background detection, but honestly right now, I don't care. So we're just gonna wing it a little bit. Like, I won't care if I bleed over the edge too much. But there was a time and place where I would zoom in as much as I possibly could on a photo, just so I can get almost to the pixel of like masking the subject or the background. Gone are those days. I stopped caring. Not always, but for now I don't care. So let's ride with it. Let's ride with it. Yo, we got DTK in the chat. Fed says 6400 on the shots outside. Okay. I almost always have an ND on unless I'm out doing photos. Yeah, man, these variable NDs are beautiful. I always say, like, if you're getting into film, like, you have to have them. DTK says, what's up? How are you? That looks like a nice photo. Thank you. Yes, I'm just doing some casual photo editing. We're watching a video from Fedorevsky, so shout out to Fed in the chat. He does a number of these, like, I don't know the genre you said it's called, but like very dark, tense thriller style. And so I think this is the first one that you've made, at least that I've seen, that's using the Genesis editing software. And I think in the past you might have been using Dehancer as well, I forget, but yeah. But yeah, shout out to Fedorevsky using the Nikon ZR as well. So, you know, we're building out the Nikon community, okay? Hello, hello, Armishig says hello from the Twitch side. Hello, hello, I probably said your name wrong. Fet says, I just used aperture here, I needed to protect the highlights, got it. I almost always have an end, yes. But yes, we're doing well, thank you for asking, DTK. I had a workshop this afternoon, so there's this big photo, it's mostly for photography, but it's also filmmakers. But it was like a photo exhibition called Exposure, without the E, so it's Exposure. A lot of international photographers come from, and then like have their own exhibits and presentations and stuff. So I was there as part of Nikon. I ran a workshop at their booth for like an hour and a half. I talked about how I basically got into filmmaking. It's so weird to say that, but how I made my very first short film, and I talked through like, here are the steps that I took to properly shoot this, here's what I learned, and all that fun stuff. So that's what I did today. I am still pretty tired from that because the event also is like, I think it was like over an hour away. So I am very exhausted. I don't know how much energy I can sustain for this, but I'm gonna try my very best. All right, that's all you get from me is the attempt. A friend of mine used to always say, I'm like Evel Knievel. I get paid for the attempt. Okay, so yeah, usually, like I said, I have a preset that I created that automatically just does the shortcut to create the subject and the background masks, and then applies a little bit of my editing to it. However, for this particular photo, just because of all the foliage and everything that you see, all this noisiness, the AI here can't detect the subject very well. So I'm just doing a little bit of my own manual application of the subject. And like I said, I'm not trying too hard. I just want it to be, generally speaking, on the money. But yeah. And then what I will do is normally once I have it on the money, this becomes the new subject. And then all you need to do, and so maybe I'll just rename this subject focused. I'll just right click this and I'll duplicate and invert mask. And this will just take the opposite of whatever I just did. So I'll just name this background softened. I like the edits fed. I like the little, what would you call that? Like when you do like the diagonal angles, but yeah, I like the perspective shift maybe. Mishig says, oh, I heard about it in Sharjah. No, yes. Rita is fine. Oh, thank you. Okay, I'll try to remember Rita. R for Rita. Gotcha. Oh, are you like a local in Dubai then, or in the UAE? Yes, it's in Sharjah. So I live in Dubai, further south area. So yeah, not too close to get there. But thanks for being in the chat, and especially if you are a local of Dubai. Thanks for finding my channel. Fed says, are we going to get to see any of it? I'd love to see to Mindful. Yeah, exactly. It's Fedorevsky. Yes. Follow Fedorevsky. Shout out to him. Thanks for letting us watch your video here as I do some boring edits. I went through the photos and dumped all the footage and started a FC Final Cut Pro timeline. I have to finish editing a commercial project from last week, and then I'll get to one. Nice. Okay, so I was saying here I usually will create a background layer and a foreground just by doing the inverse. And then here, this also lets me know if I missed the mark on something. So basically I need to subtract. And I'll just remove some parts here. And I don't mind if the background catches part of the edge of the subject, because usually I'm adding a bit of softening to the background. So I don't mind if the edge gets a bit softer, because it doesn't look too bad, usually. good enough. And then for the background, generally I just do a bit of like reducing the texture and sometimes clarity to a certain point. It's a lot of just like eyeballing. Whereas for the subject, I will apply just a very tad bit of like texture and clarity. And then this is like the area I usually struggle with a bit. Mindful says... Oh, sorry. Fed says that lantern is really the main light here. The other two practicals, the flashlight and headlights, are just helping out lifting shadow and adding some overall exposure. I learned that the word recently, practicals. So yeah. Oh no, we learned it from one of the quizzes I did. Oh, that means I should keep doing my quiz. DDK is saying your videos are so nice. Yes, yes, I agree. I concur. Okay, so for my photo editing, I was mentioning one thing I generally struggle with is trying to figure out the right framing, because I will change my mind constantly in terms of like what looks good, what doesn't. So like a part of me thinks this kind of framing could look nice just to, I don't know why, but you get some kind of weight to the right side of the image, and then you've got the leopard on the left side, but it feels like the opposite type of weighting, because obviously we got the leopard here looking to the left but close to the left, so it feels slightly off, right? But I don't mind it. Then there's a part of me that thinks you should actually crop it more like this, let's say, where the leopard is more centered in terms of where the eyes get placed, and then you've got the texture of the foreground starting from the right. So it gives a bit of that look space over on the left, generally where the leopard's looking and the way the direction of the leopard's body is. But sometimes, I don't know, I'm not a fan of this too much these days. And I wish I could say why. So I'll usually play around and I just keep cropping, trying to figure out if there's something that looks better. So like something like this honestly looked a bit better to me, like a super crop. Ludwig. Oh, that's the name. Ludwig. Ludwig. Got it. Is that like a Norwegian name, or what is Ludwig? A Scandinavian name? But yes, thank you very much for sharing this, man. Wow, I didn't think we'd watch it all. We got through almost the whole 21.5 minutes. Thank you. So shout out to Fed. I'll link this in the chat. People should definitely check you out, my friend. Thank you. Oh, I can't paste it there. That's annoying. I'll just paste it manually. Probably German. Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you for the content. All right, so we got our full screen here of the baby, not the baby, it's a young leopard. I kind of like this framing. It's like a super close up. You do lose a lot of the environment though by doing that. So sometimes I like to edit multiple versions. So I'll keep one super long, like a landscape, so you can see the animal in its background, in its environment, and then also pair that with like a close-up shot. Because I also do like something like this for some reason, like having a bit more spacing. And you know what? I think, yeah, I want this framing here because you get a little bit of that brown from another tree that's sticking out. So it helps for like the framing to show, you know, how we're capturing this leopard from a distance. And then the question becomes, how much weight do I want on the right there of that? I'm not sure. So this is very much an eyeball test. There is no right or wrong, I would say. But yeah, maybe it's like, okay, I want to edit this version, and then later on, I'll do like a cropped version of the same shot somewhere. But yeah. This looks okay. And then I usually, at this point, I've become so lazy with the edits. I just look at my presets and hope that my preset can work. But yeah, so I'll use some of my presets to get a general sense of like, okay, is there a creative direction I can take with my shot? So now we'll get into the crazier colors and stuff like that. So this Falcon sunset looks not bad. This one's too muted. Greens are okay. Oh yeah, there's one thing. There's one thing I need to do to my presets. So at some point I need to refresh all my presets, because I think in my presets I do apply for a lot of them the subject and the background mask, and I think I need to separate it out, because in those circumstances where the subject background masking is off, like the AI is off, then you'll see it being applied incorrectly, and I don't want that. So that's something I need to take a step and like fix later. But yeah, let's just do this for a general sense. For the mood that we want to go for. And I guess I want the leopard to stand out. So I think right now I don't want it to feel blending in with the background. So doing something where the colors really stand out. So like having the color of the leopard stick out, contrast nicely with the forest, is probably the vibe that I want. And then the question is, do I want this dark and moody style, or do I want a bit more brightly lit? Since we are inside a forest, I feel like dark and moody makes a bit more sense. But honestly, I break the rules all the time. It's just whatever you're feeling, you know? Oh yeah, and then we should test out my Luminar Neo thing as well. Mindful says, jumping out, impossible to focus on editing while getting distracted with YouTube. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Good luck, folks. It helped. Fed says it helps a lot shooting raw when you use different temperature lights like this as practicals. Even when grading a lot, it holds up great. If it was a 10-bit or 8-bit compressed, that wouldn't work. Well, gotcha. Okay. Oh, man. Oh, nice. I have a preset called Leopard Lounge, which doesn't look bad, but... Oh yeah, I was mentioning I need to test out Luminar. This could be a good one to test now. Actually, yeah, before we do any crazy edits, maybe if I take this guy, let's edit in Luminar Neo. So as a quick context or kind of refresh, Luminar Neo is a product from Skylum, I think is like the key company. And they had reached out to me a few weeks ago and asked if I was interested in testing out their product. And so, funny enough, we got Lowbase in the chat, who I think he used to work with them in the past. So yeah, I wanted to test out Luminar properly. And it's just, you know, we had the holidays, so I haven't had time to like really properly do any photo edits. But now that we're back and we're getting back into the grind, I want to spend time to properly test out this product. So it has a bunch of like AI built in. I believe the way they designed this, it technically is like an all-in-one photo editing software. So you could do everything, you know, like as you would in Lightroom or Photoshop or whatever else you use for editing your photos. They technically do it all here as well. If I were to use this consistently, I probably wouldn't use it for that just because I'm comfortable with Lightroom. But there's a few of these kind of tools that they've got built in that I want to keep testing out. So for instance, what is this? They have noiseless AI, super sharp AI. For this photo, I don't actually think I need to apply any denoising because like I said, the photo's pretty sharp already. But why not? Let's test this out. So if I do this one, I mean, so it did make a difference, but like I said, I don't really want to sharpen this image, and I think it's a bit over sharp for what I want. So it looks like I could mask it out, but honestly, I don't think I need it at all. So we're gonna undo that. The big thing that I want to play with, I think it's this one. Is it the sun rays? I think. Yeah, okay, let's test this out. They have this cool AI feature that will create these sun rays, and it just like bases it, you know, it just like builds it based on wherever you put the sun center, and then it detects the actual image to figure out what might be, you know, like openings where the sunlight is piercing through versus not. It's just like very, very fascinating. I don't know how they built it. And then you can adjust the different sun ray amounts, the penetration, all of that. So let's see. Let's say I want it to reach all the way to the edge. And I want the sun to come through from the edge. And then, yeah, if I were to use this, I think less sun rays is fine. Yeah, and it's like this directional thing. So as I move the center point, it actually detects like how to adjust the sun rays. And then it'll pinpoint areas, like I said, pinpoint these openings in the trees to mimic like sun coming through. Which is like kind of crazy tech to me, but it very much can allow for some very artistic shots. Okay, I'm just having fun with this. And just want to soften it a little bit. Yeah, something like this could be nice. So just like adding a little bit of like a hazy, faded effect in there, but like to mimic a bit more sunlight coming through. So yeah, I kind of like this. All right, we're gonna apply this and we'll just keep playing around with it later. All right, but here's the thing. I'm noticing that I think the first thing that goes is, one, I'm like very tired mentally, but also my eyes, just like I'm feeling a lot of weight behind my eyes. So I think honestly, this might be a good place for me to just pause. In the same way that we started off this stream, and at some point I was talking about like, okay, blah blah blah, ADHD, learning how to say no or that kind of stuff. I think part of me is realizing I should also learn to listen to my body and just be like, okay, here's a time for me to pause. It is now almost 8 p.m. I should probably try to go to sleep early tonight so that I feel well rested tomorrow. By the way, my cat is here. Wow, finally, Kimbap has shown up. Oh wait, no, both of them are here. Okay, nice. All right, we got Nala chilling with us, and then Kimbap over there. Look at that good boy. Very good boy. Yes, Kimbap. Yeah, Fed says, good idea, get some rest. I think so. Hey, just one quick thing though I'll mention is I think so. Okay, let me plug myself one more time. So if you go to my YouTube channel, I have a new video that I've published. Let me type YouTube. Check out on the YouTube channel. I have a new video, which is a 7-minute video about my backpack that I got from Pidgeotech, and this will be my backpack for 2026. So I will be properly testing it out on upcoming travels, both locally as well as when I travel abroad. And yeah, so hopefully you enjoy this video. I do have some additional content I can make breaking down the video in more detail. Oh yeah, actually, yeah. Listen, I have just enough energy to keep talking about some other things here. Where is my DaVinci? Let's open it up. But yeah, so check out my new video. It's one of these talking head product review style videos. It's a first impressions video, so I haven't taken it out into the wild, but at the very least I've tested it from my studio. It was meant to be a casual thing, but shout out to the editor that I worked with. I think he did a phenomenal job. Where is it? YouTube projects, Pidgeotech, and this one. So yeah, my editor that I used for this past video for the Pidgeotech, he nailed the assignment. He just understood. There's like this thing that I feel like the previous editors that I've talked about ad nauseum in terms of like feeling nauseous from them. Some of them they just have like a creative spark when it comes to like utilizing soundtracks, making boring moments very engaging. And I feel like this editor figured out how to do that really well. So I'm going to try to work with him going forward. And so now we're just kind of working out what's the right structure, the right number of content that I would be publishing. And my hope is that he can actually help me significantly when it comes to these like talking head videos. So even like this live stream, finding ways that I can do more digestible bits from the live stream itself so that it's easier for me to publish on YouTube. So it's not like, hey, you either have to watch a 3-hour video live stream or nothing at all. So hopefully we can provide this alternative. And yeah, and hopefully he can make me sound more interesting and all that fun stuff. So one thing you can see over here is this is like that new series that I've been talking about. So I have gone ahead and tried to film the first 2 episodes of where I just kind of, it's just like little bite-sized hear from me in a non-scripted type of a way. So you'll hear me speak about whatever topic. So yeah, I did the first 2 episodes here where you literally will see me chilling on this little workout bench, staring up at the camera. And, hopefully my cats are hanging out with me, or, they'll dip at different points. But yeah, and then I'll just talk and talk and talk, but just for like 3 to 5 minutes. So this might be one of the first things I'll see if this new editor, if we can work together, can he make this more spicy in a cool way, Because here's my thought process. Let's say if this new series is called Behind the Lens, I would want a nice title sequence to pop up at some point. And then as I'm talking about whatever, just like there's enough space here on the right to either show different photos or videos that are, in line with whatever I'm saying, or just to add some like text overlays to make whatever I say a bit more weighted. But besides that, it's meant to be very, very minimal in this, it's just like hear from me for a few minutes and that's it. So, I'll be trying more of this, so wish me luck, because yeah, this is very different from the content that I've been posting to date on YouTube, but it is hopefully the best of everything, like the best of my learnings from color grading and trying to get different compositions and like trying to make things quote unquote cinematic, but then also the best of my learnings from live streams of like talking in front of a camera, and yeah, making it feel a bit more organic as opposed to like polished from like a reading a script type of a way. So that's my big challenge for this year. So yeah, that's one big thing I'll keep working on. I need to post a few more footage from the chimpanzee thing, and then we're gonna get back into editing travel vlogs, including Mongolia and the rest. So all right. Oh my god, that took a lot out of me just to keep going, but thank you guys. Thanks. Yeah, I didn't mean to stream today, so I'm glad you guys were here just to cheer me on and keep me company. I'll be back tomorrow for sure. I should be back, and then for the rest of the week. And yeah, that's all I got. Okay, thank you guys.